Hey, welcome to Half the Battle and another Q&A. Well, let's get straight to the questions, shall we? Who is your favorite Python Patrol character? Well, that's an easy one. It's Copperhead. And there's a special reason for that. You see, I've always liked the guy, and I was delighted that he was put in charge of Python Patrol. And the reason why I like him so much? Well, for that you have to go all the way back to the mid-80s. You see, I actually don't remember what my first G.I. Joe figure was, but I think I got 3 of them at the same time. There was Flint, there was Footloose, and then there was Copperhead with the water moccasin. So he was, at the very least, the first Cobra figure I ever got. And I liked it straight away. So Copperhead will always have a special place in my memories. Next, there are 2 questions that pretty much boil down to the same thing. One was, why did I decide to start a review show? And the other one was, did I have any role models when it came to reviewing? A lot of people got into reviewing thanks to the nostalgia critic or the angry video game nerd. But I wasn't one of them. Well, not directly anyway. I first came across that guy with the glasses sometimes between the 1st and 2nd anniversary. That was the Kick-Assia movie. And it was while watching Kick-Assia that I saw how many other reviewers there were. And I got inspired by a few of them. Most notably Linkara, The Last Angry Geek, and Spoonie. And later on also Bennett the Sage. And these guys seem to have a blast making their shows, so I thought to myself, well, I can try that. It took me 3 days just to get 20 seconds worth of finished review. But I kept on it and the show became what it is today. I'm not that thrilled about my earliest videos because I don't emote in them at all. I kinda just keep droning in this neutral voice and it gets really annoying when I have to look at it again. Fortunately, I've improved a great deal since then. So, short answer to the question, I got into this reviewing thing pretty much thanks to Linkara, The Last Angry Geek, and Bennett the Sage, and Spoonie. The last question for today, will I review the G.I. Joe video games? No. I'm sorry, but there's just too many problems with that. For one thing, I've never really played the games. For another, I have no way of capturing video game footage for my show, and I am too lazy to learn. When I was a kid, I didn't have any consoles. I had an Amiga computer, and G.I. Joe the video games were never released for that format. They were on the Commodore 64 and they were on the Atari and the NES, but as far as I can tell, never the Amiga, so they passed me by. So I don't really feel any connection to them, unlike say the toys, the comics and the cartoons that I review all the time. As for the modern games, well, I played the movie game a little, still haven't finished it. But I think I'll leave reviewing that kind of stuff to the professionals, like Angry Joe. Well, that's all for the questions. Now for a bit of a rant. Actually, it's kind of a sad topic this week. Well, not tragic sad, just sad. You see, the local toy store in our town is closing. They're gonna tear it down. It was the only toy store left, really. I mean, there are 2 more stores that have a small section devoted to toys, but nothing like what we had. There used to be like 4 or 5 toy stores in our town, and now the last one is closing up shop. And I have a special bond with it. I mean, it's been there ever since I was a kid. I got my first toys from there. You remember the mid-80s, you went to the toy store, there was a whole aisle of G.I. Joe, a whole aisle of Star Wars, a whole aisle of Mask and He-Man. It was just the best. Actually, when I was a kid, That toy store was the first place I got to go to on my own riding my bike. It was quite an adventure. And now they're gonna tear it down after what? 30, 40 years? It's a sad event. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that says, hey, this or that ruined my childhood. But in this case, you know what? A part of my childhood is dying. And, well, it's something to reflect on. Also, from a practical standpoint, it sucks, because I still get new toys from there. Like, I've got a TIE Fighter from The Force Awakens that I bought, I don't know, a month ago. And I got a lot of props I use on this show from there, like the Ghost costume. So now, if I want new action figures, I'll have to go to the next town over. That sucks. Still, there are gonna be 3 stores to take its place, and I just hope one of them is a toy store. But we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of waiting and seeing, I'll see you guys next week for a new review. See you later, everybody. Now, a lot of people got into this reviewing thing thanks to the Nostalgia Critic, but I wasn't one of them. And that's motorcycles. It's springtime again. Joy of joys.